So, hoy hablamos sobre el subjuntivo, el uso del subjuntivo después de emociones. So we already can do a review of our subjunctive uses that we've had in the past. First, después de ojalá, we always use subjunctive. Second, verbos de imposición, hope or influence, when you're hoping that somebody else will do something, when you're trying to influence someone else's actions, we use the subjunctive. After S plus an adjective, when we have a subject, we need to use the subjunctive. And our last one we spent some time with, after doubt and after negation, you're going to use the subjunctive. So we're adding to this list more subjunctive. Subjunctive is our new use, uso número 5. Subjunctive after introductory clauses that have emotion in them or are an emotional reaction. So if we look at our two examples here, estoy entusiasmada, that's our introductory clause. And right there we have emotion in it. Estoy entusiasmada, I'm super enthused, I'm super excited. Always going to be followed up by que in our formula. So we have an intro that has emotion, we have a que, and then we have the subjunctive of the verb gustar, right? Gustar is an AR verb, so the opposite vowel, guste, is subjunctive. Que fantástico is an expression of reaction. So what qualifies an expression of reaction? Exclamation points. Que with an accent. Que with an accent is a question, and que with an accent is also an exclamation. So you would say, how fantastic that, right? Que without the accent is the linker, right? So this one's going to have two Ks, one with, one without an accent. So que plus an adjective is an expression of reaction. And we're talking specifically right here about reactions that have probably some emotional depth to them. That's why they have that exclamatory. And then always we have our que without the accent that's linking the two parts together. And the subjunctive and the verb in the subjunctive. So we have the verb ser, and the subjunctive here is sea. So our two examples, estoy entusiasmada que a ustedes les guste el subjuntivo. So enthused that you guys like the subjunctive. And que fantástico que el subjuntivo sea tan fácil. How fantastic that it's so darn easy. Special rules, they always exist. With emotion. With emotion, if you have two different subjects, one subject for the emotion verb and one subject for the other verb you're emoting about, you have to use subjunctive. There's no option. It's like ojalá, you always have to use it with this. So for example, estoy enojada que no estés aquí. So estoy is yo, and I'm the subject of this verb. So that's our first subject. And that's different from two. So because we have two different subjects, we have to have subjunctive in that second verb. So, wondering about what happens if it's the same person, if your subjects are the same. If the subjects are the same, you can still use subjunctive. I know, you're a little bit ahead of me. However, you have the option not to. So it's always going to be correct to use subjunctive after emotion, no matter who the subjects are. But if the subject of the emoting verb is the same as the subject of the verb that you're getting emotional about, then you have the option, and a lot of native speakers will choose this, to use no que and to use the infinitive. So you could say, estoy enojada no estar allí. I'm mad to not be there. You could also say, I'm mad that I am not there. Estoy enojada que no esté aquí, using the subjunctive. Both are correct. So subjunctive is always correct, and if there's no change in subject, you may opt to take the easy route, to not have to worry about conjugating your verb, skip the linking que, and use the infinitive. Okay, so this is with verbs of emotion. With our reaction, with our que plus an adjective. If that second verb has a subject, if you're going to conjugate it at all, then you need to conjugate it always in the subjunctive. Qué excelente que no tengas tarea. Who's our subject right here?
You.
Tú, right? And we know that because it's the to form. However, if you don't have a subject, you can't conjugate the verb. And if you don't have a subject, it ends up being a generalization. And then you use the infinitive. Exactly like our rule with S plus an adjective. S plus an adjective, K plus an adjective. If you have a subject, you have to conjugate your verb. It has to be in the subjunctive. If you don't have a subject, you cannot conjugate your verb. It's going to go straight to the infinitive. So, qué excelente no tener tarea. How wonderful to not have homework. And qué excelente que no tengas tarea. So, special rules, we did that. Emotions. Let's talk about how to express your emotions. Oh. First, you can just stick your lip out and use your facial expressions to express your emotion. But since we're actually using our words in this class, we're going to start off with adjective. The word is star. The verb is star. That's we use it for conditions, so it's very appropriate because our emotions generally are conditions. Plus an adjective of emotion. So, for example, estoy ansiosa, estás alegre, está miserable, estamos sorprendidos, están celosos, or celosas here. So, speaking of celosas, I want you to look. I want to be really careful with gender. So, we can tell that for the bottom one, están celosas, that they're girls. Also know that nosotros, ustedes, ellos, and ellas is plural. So the adjective needs to have the S on the end. So, for example, estamos sorprendidos. In order for it to be we, it has to be me plus somebody else. So that's going to be two or more people. So it always needs that S on the end. I want you to also challenge yourself to try to start using some new adjectives and not just contento, alegre, and triste, right? So start looking them up and thinking about some of the emotions you could be. And some more verbs, some verbs that have emotions. First of all, the verb alegrarse. It looks a lot like the adjective alegre, and it means, well, you'd think it would be mean, to be happy, right? It makes me happy that. It's a reflexive verb, so that means it's going to be me alegro, te alegras, se alegra, nos alegramos, and se alegran. Some people choose to use the day after it, some people don't. It depends on what sounds better to you. So, me alegro de que vengan a mi fiesta, or me alegro que vengan a mi fiesta. Either one. They're both correct. The verb temer, to fear. It's a regular verb. So, temo, temes, teme, tememos, temen. The verb sentir means to feel badly that. It's a stem-changing verb, so siento, sientes, siente, sentimos, sienten. We see it a lot. Use it all the time with the phrase lo siento. You're saying, oh, I feel badly about it. Oh, I feel badly about it. You're not actually saying sorry. You're saying, I feel badly about it. Perdón is a pardon. And then our last group are verbs that are going to end up being conjugated like gustar. So, doler. Me duele, te duele, le duele. To hurt. It hurts that. Frustrar. It frustrates me that. Me frustra que. Nos frustra que. Les frustra que. It frustrates them. Encantar. I love it. It makes me happy. Me encanta. Nos encanta. Sorprender. It surprises me that. So this last group functions like gustar.